it's Jessi, and today we're starting our discussion on part 2 of The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Let me grab the book like a good booktuber. Anyway, so when I say start, I've already read the first 50 pages of this, actually. I don't know what the actual page count is because I don't know where page part 2 started. Yeah, actually almost exactly. So I'm on page 264, which is chapter 15, sorry. So I've read 3 chapters in this section. So it was 2 Adeline and Dalinar chapters and 1 Kaladin chapter. So let me start with the Kaladin one because I don't have much to say. He keeps growing on me. I love Syl. She's adorable. I love her curiosity and her learning about the world. She's adorable. Kaladin's growing on me, but he's still too perfect. I don't know. I want him to have some sort of flaw that comes out. And almost giving up after being literally left more or less for dead isn't really a flaw. So I want there to be something. But of all the characters, he and Syl are definitely the ones I'm most attached to. Adolin and Dalinar, on the other hand. So one, I don't know why I didn't know they were related. I feel like I should have known that. I know most of the main characters just by seeing their names here and there. And it doesn't seem like people talk about Adolin a lot at all. But yeah, I didn't know they were father-son. I kind of feel similarly about Adolin as I do about Shallan, which is just that he's spoiled and privileged. Except unlike Shallan, I don't know. There's something about him that just rubs me the wrong way. Maybe it's the fact that he's a womanizer, which is just never going to be a character that I fully enjoy. Maybe it's the way he'd just rather lie around sipping wine than doing anything. But on the other hand, he wants to go to he's so contradictory. And that confuses me. Dalinar is cool, but I don't really get who he is at all at this point. So that's kind of talking with my friend that I'm buddy reading with. Sanderson's characterization here seems a little weak, and not weak in the sense of these aren't fully fleshed characters. Just in the yeah, but that's just it. They don't feel fully fleshed out yet. The world does. But the characters don't, and maybe it's because for most of them you don't really know what they're striving for. I also think it's weird that these aren't really connected yet. Obviously they're in some way connected. They're all being influenced by this war, but and you can see the bit of the spider web that's attaching them all. But I don't know. I'm finding that I wish there was more of a plot and not just here's what all these people are doing. So I think that's why it's so easy to attach to Kaladin, because even if you don't necessarily know ultimately what his story is going to be, you at least know what he's striving for. I don't know. So it's interesting. It's good. Honestly, last night I would have kept reading if it hadn't switched from Kaladin to Adolin Dalinar. The perspectives changed. It's oh, maybe I don't want to read this, and then I looked at the page numbers and I was oh yeah, I should stop until I can update people. But that's where I'm at now. Okay, another 50-ish pages later, and quick update because I really don't have that much to say. So this was a massive Adolin chapter, and then a smaller Kaladin flashback chapter. Okay, I'm not liking part 2 as much. From talking with friends, that seems to be shit. So you don't see my messy desk. That seems to be pretty common reaction to part 2. I'm just okay. Adolin and Dalinar have this very politics heavy plot, which is just not my thing. I'm not attached to Dalinar or Adolin at all. I don't care about them, so their story isn't interesting me. On the other hand, Kaladin's backstory could be so interesting. I love his reactions with his little brother are freaking adorable, and his interactions with his dad are really interesting, but it just feels like it's such
heavy-handed foreshadowing. So like he's in this chapter, was talking with his girlfriend, whatever her name is, and she's like trying to get him to go to be a soldier and whatever, and like it's pretty obvious that she wants to marry him, but like he's a dark eyes, she could never marry a dark eyes because fantasy racism. But then she like literally drops the line at one point, even a slave could become a light eyes if he won a shard blade, and it was just like, I rolled my eyes at that. Like that's just, it's heavy. And like maybe I'm just becoming more genre savvy, maybe I just kind of already, but like reading that line I was just like, well thanks, I saw that coming. Although maybe I'm wrong, maybe Kaladin never becomes a shard blade wielder, but I doubt it. Also, I'm trying to get track of all these, so there's 10 total shard blades that were ever, and then there's 9 currently in the world because the one guy's still like trapped in damnation or whatever, and we know where 4 of them are because Adolin has one, Dalinar has one, what's his name has one. Seth has one. I thought we knew where one other one was. One other guy. I don't know about the other one. I thought we knew where one other one was. But that leaves 5 to 6 completely unaccounted for. And I don't know if that's like ever gonna be a thing. Like, are we ever going to have all 9, 10 of them? Or is it only ever gonna be like 5, 6 of them and then the rest are just like lost? I don't know. But it's definitely, this book is just so heavily like, you're reading this because of the world building, and that's kind of starting to grate on me. Like, I love good world building, but I need a little more substance, and I don't like that I'm not liking it, and I want to like it, especially because like I'm reading it with a friend and we're having good conversations about it, and you know, I want to be able to share it with other people because so many people seem to really love it, but so far I'm just, I don't know, I'm getting kind of bored. It's been like a week and I've read like 50 pages, so that's where we're at with that. Alright, it has been a little bit longer than 50 pages since I last updated because I was reading before bed and just kept reading because I was actually kind of, no, that's not true. I don't really have anything new to add. I still don't like Adolin. I still think he's a spoiled, obnoxious brat. Dalinar has gotten more interesting. So we had one of his not flashbacks, one of his visions, but this one just happened to seem like a flashback. And I enjoyed that. It's just, he's so wrapped up in politics, and those are just generally not plots I enjoy in fantasy. And I still like Kaladin, but he's back to being a little bit too perfect. Like, he's going through a lot, and his journey is really difficult. But there's something boring about a character that never seems to fail or never seems to question. And I know he doesn't, but not believably. Like, I know he does go through those moments of doubt, but not believably. Like, I just know he's going to turn it around. So, I don't know, that's where I'm at. It's pretty funny. I was telling my partner about Kaladin's story, and I was like, yeah, so he's like, gets in trouble and he ends up as a slave, and he's put in this group, and it's like, not just is he in this like group of people that are basically the lowest of the low, but on top of that he's put in Bridge Crew 4, which is the lowest of the lowest of the low. So like, he's at the very bottom and he's gonna turn them around, and it's really great. And he's like, this sounds like Holes, Jessi. So that's all I can think of now. And so if they do a movie adaptation and Shia LaBeouf doesn't play Kaladin, I feel like it's a missed opportunity. Anyway, part 2 is really long, so this video might end up being really long. I don't know, maybe I'll end up splitting it in half. Probably not, though. Anyway, that's it for now. I don't know, I might update less frequently for part 2 just because I have less to say. Yeah, hopefully it just... I need a little more than just world building, Sanderson, to get me interested in a book. Hi, okay, next Way of Kings update. I am actually almost like 100 pages further than where I was last time. I am in the middle of chapter 24, Yeah, I'm giving you a mid-chapter update. It's a little weird, but the reason I did it was because I wanted an excuse to review a tea. So if you're interested in Zing by Joya, that's a terrible shot. Zing by Joya, which is what I'm drinking right now because my latest Sips by box came in. I will link my review in up or down or somewhere. Anyway, let's get to what you really care about. So, I don't know. I'm like 100 pages later and I have nothing of interest to say. Okay, maybe not 100, closer to like 70 pages, but still. Oh, let's see. Let's talk through, I guess, weakest to strongest, still hate Adolin. At this point, I really kind of want to see Adolin die. Because I think it would make Dalinar's story more interesting if he had to grapple with that. I don't think he's going to, but I kind of want to see it happen, you know, whatever. Anyway, I still hate Adolin. I think he represents a lot of the culture of the Alethi. And I don't think that's a good thing. He's just very, very frivolous and spoiled. And I swear to God, if I have to hear about one more woman, I will scream. And I realize the culture like promotes a certain level of like, I hate it. I hate Adolin. Anyway, Dalinar, slightly better. Still not loving him. Did I read the vision before I talked to you guys last? I don't know if I talked about that, but the vision was really cool, like of him fighting those like shadow creatures. That was pretty cool, although it went on about twice as long as I think it needed to get the point across. But he's still so wrapped up in politics, and so the reason I was thinking this update might actually be worth it, because Dalinar is starting to get a little too make Alethi great again for my vibes. That sentence came out of order, but he's, anyway, his vibe is kind of making me uncomfortable. I always get uneasy in anything, real world or fantasy, when somebody starts yearning for the good old days of when the country they lived in was a tyrannical empire. I mean, we don't really know the Alethi history. Maybe they were benevolent overlords. Doubt. But the like whole, man, when we were united and ruling the world, everything was so much better. And let's ignore the fact that that was built on the backs of slaves and people we exploited. No, because we're nice to the people we exploit, so it's fine. I just not liking those vibes from Dalinar. His other son, not Adolin, I don't know how to say his name, I'm not gonna try. Liking him a little more. I kind of wish we could get some from his perspective because I think he's interesting. I think there's more to him than we're seeing. I'm getting future villain vibes from him. I think his whole strive to push himself beyond what he's capable and to prove himself feels very villain origin story. The second son that can't live up to the first son because of things beyond his control, you know, very villain origin story. And on top of it, so Dalinar just promised him that he would give him a shard if he found one or got one in battle, and then immediately afterwards promised somebody else they could have the first shard he finds. And like at this point we don't know if that guy's accepting it, and whatever the other high prince's name is accepting that offer or not, and it's implied that he's probably not going to, but if he does, and then I can see that going down a path where Dalinar gives him a shard blade and his son whatever his name is getting upset. Sorry, I just thought of something else to talk to you about. So I could see that, you know, him then starting to resent his father who promised to give him something that would make him powerful enough so that he could fight alongside, you know, his brother and his dad. I can see that happening. I don't know if it will. But that's kind of where I see his arc going. I don't know, he's kind of just in the background, and if that's not what the purpose of his arc is, he seems a little wasted. I got excited because the other person we met was the king's mom, whose name I don't know right now, but and I can't find it off immediately. And I like her. I don't really have anything else to say about it other than I like her. She's cool. Do not like Dalinar's weird thirst for her, though. Not a fan of she's so pretty. Oh no, can't look at her that way. That's my brother's wife. She's basically my sister. But ooh, she's hot. Not a fan. Not a fan of that narrative choice. Okay, so then on the other hand of things, other side of things, we have Dalinar, not Dalinar, the other guy. Adolin, Dalinar, Kaladin. Why are the names so similar? Kaladin, I'm enjoying his perspectives more than either of the other two. I have been warned that this section gets kind of repetitive with the bridge runs and things, and so far I'm not feeling that. It is kind of vaguely giving me Rage of Dragons feel vibes, but not entirely. Just something there is kind of that. I love the little companions that Kaladin has collected. So first off, Scylla's like amazing. She's perfect. I love her. She's basically me when I drink too much. So there's that. Rock, perfect. I love him. This other guy is growing on me. I can't remember his name, but the other guy he has helping him is growing on me. I don't trust him, but I think actually I lied. I trust him because he's laying it on so thick that I shouldn't trust him. Like, there's gonna be a moment where he has a chance to betray Kaladin and doesn't. That's just kind of the arc. It's being laid on a little too thick. But yeah, I'm enjoying those. I don't really have anything to say about those sections. I'm just kind of enjoying them. I think they're nice. I haven't had another Kaladin flashback since the last one, I don't think, and I don't mind them. They just kind of... I just feel like Sanderson isn't being subtle in this book at all, except when he's just totally missing the mark, so I don't know. I think there's an environmentalist message he's trying to make. I'm not entirely sure. If he's trying to make an argument about racism, he's kind of falling short there. And God, I hope he's not trying to make an anti-imperialist commentary, because if so, he's not there yet. Anyway, that's what I have for now, and I'll update you probably in another 100 pages. I think that's what I'm going to do for the rest of this, because okay, here's the thing. If you're here, you've read this. At least as far as I have. Or you just don't care. If I wasn't reading this for a buddy read, if I didn't trust Sanderson as an author, and if this didn't have so much hype behind it, I would have DNF'd it in this section. It's so dull. And I don't care about any of the characters. And so it's just really hard to push through. I even messaged Josh and I was half considering, because he's almost done with part 2, and he's 5-6 chapters ahead of me. And I told him, I was maybe I'll just look up chapter summaries when I get to the Dalinar and Adolin stuff, because I don't... So I'm not there yet, but just really struggling. So hopefully it gets better. Hopefully part 3 isn't more of this, because I might give up. Anyway, I will talk to you guys soon. Okay, I finished part 2. Haven't read the interludes yet. We'll see how those go. Who are these people? Do I know any of these people? Seth again? Risen sounds familiar. I don't know. My buddy read partner thinks that the ending of the part 2 was exciting, and honestly I didn't. I thought it was still kind of boring. I still don't like Dalinar, and I still don't like Adolin. My lifespan decreases every time Adolin mentions a new woman. And I don't understand what the purpose is. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate Adolin. Dalinar, slightly more bearable. Seems kind of white guilty a lot. White savior-y sometimes. I just don't know what's gonna happen with him. I don't know if we're supposed to believe. It's just very much he's one of the good ones, you know? It's the not all. Where are they from? Aleki are terrible racists. There's Dalinar. And I know a lot of people really like him, so I just don't know what I'm missing. Navani, I didn't mention her last time, and I don't know why, because she had already been introduced, but I like Navani. I don't trust Navani, but I like Navani. I think I just hate the Alethi culture so much that anyone that like shuns that a little bit, I start to like. So like Navani's decision to not stay by the king's side and be like perfect mother is like cool to me. Yeah. Kaladin I'm really liking. I like the little band that he's building. I think it's cute. I think it's fun. Their little like singing and stew and the like telling stories and laughing. It's cute. And I know very well that it's setting me up for heartbreak. But I'm enjoying that part. I enjoy Kaladin's stories, so I'm excited to go forward. I'm really not sure Shallan's story is going to do much for me. She was kind of meh. But at this point right now, she's looking like she's going to be a breath of fresh air. Because, God, I could not take another moment more of Adolin, I swear. Oh, God. Also, Ben told me it's pronounced Yasna. So I'll try to fix that going forward in the next vlog. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. Part 2 was dull. Not like the worst thing I've ever read, but for how long it took me to read. Actually, that's the thing, that didn't even take me that long. It's been like 3 weeks and I've read 500 pages. That's pretty good. So I don't know why I'm even complaining. But I just didn't like part 2. And I'm hoping part 3 is better. And I don't know, I'm not even gonna look to what part 4 is I am. What's part 4 gonna be? Yeah, ooh, Navani chapters. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'll do a wrap up for this video diary after I read the interludes. But I'm done. I'm done. Okay, and that's it. I finished the interlude, so I'm done with part 3. Or part 2. Done with part 2. Moving on to part 3. Okay, so the interlude. The first one was that merchant in Shinovar. Nothing of any real significance to add there, other than it's really interesting that when blocked by the high storms, the world is... I think it makes sense that like the ecosystem would be so drastically different because like a lot of the adaptations or evolutions that have happened in like plant life in most of Roshar could be connected to the high storms. So I think that was a really neat bit for Sanderson to have. As far as their culture goes, I'm kind of on the fence there. I always get kind of wary of white fantasy authors including a clearly Eastern inspired culture as this exotic, far off, distant land. It just makes me uneasy, but we'll see how it goes. The second one was The Collector, and oh my god, I love The Collector. I thought he was so funny, and I want like him. I just want his story. I want like a Lady Trent style book just about him studying the different kinds of spren. Because like, I think that's so cool. I love the spren. I'm so curious and confused about the spren. So like the idea of like getting a nice full story, just studying them, that'd be so cool. So yeah, I liked his chapter a lot, and I think from now on we should replace any time Adolin has a perspective with hidden. Can we do that, please? Anyway, and then the third one was, of course, we go back to Seth, and he just makes me sad. Poor guy. I do wonder though if Seth is the guy that was traded to the merchant from the first interlude in this one. Not Risen, her master. Steam. I wonder. Just because it's kind of a cute little like through line. Anyway, that said, that's the end of part 2. I have part 3 is going to be some more Kaladin and Shallan. I don't really have any predictions to go on here. I think Kaladin is eventually gonna get a shard blade because, like, duh. Yeah, that's really my only prediction. I mean, I think Dalinar is supposed to be like reviving the whatchamacallit, the superhero people. I think that's kind of like his thing, but I don't really like have anything more solid there. And I still kind of want to see Adolin die, but I don't think he's going to. I think something's going to happen to Renarin. I just don't know what. Either he's going to die, or he's going to become evil. Excuse me. I could see Adolin being put in charge of the house gives Adolin less time to take care of Renarin or like be around Renarin, and then Renarin being like feeling slighted and like he doesn't have a purpose and turning to the dark side, becoming a villain somehow. Yeah, that's really it. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about Shalin. She was like so on the edge for me during the first part, and I'm not like excited to get back to her story. I'm just excited to be done with Adolin and Dalinar for now. So I don't know. We will see, and you'll have to wait till the next video to find out what I think. Bye.